A student logs into a course module, downloads a syllabus, reads a chapter, and takes a quiz. The instructor uploaded these files months ago, and now waits silently for the grades to roll in. For the student, the screen is a digital void. Under federal law, specifically 34 CFR 600.2, mirrored by California Title V, this kind of passive, hands-off design carries a specific legal label, a correspondence course. When auditors reclassify an online class as correspondence education, the fallout is immediate. The enrolled students lose their eligibility for financial aid, and the college itself risks its accreditation status. Avoiding that penalty requires instructors to meet a standard known as RSI, Regular and Substantive Interaction. The substantive half requires academic, instructor-initiated engagement. Leaving a comment that says "great job" on a paper or answering a question only after a student asks it fails the test. The regular half demands that this engagement happens on a predictable schedule, paired with active, continuous monitoring of how students are progressing through the material. Those strict legal definitions dictate exactly how an online course must function. By mapping them onto a standard Monday to Friday schedule, we can see exactly what a legally compliant week looks like in practice. It is Monday morning. A new week unlocks in the learning management system, giving students access to a fresh set of modules, recorded videos, and reading assignments. The instructor posts a morning announcement outlining the upcoming Friday deadlines, reminding the class where to submit essays, and noting navigational tips for the new module. To be clear, that announcement does not count as substantive interaction. Reminding students about logistics and deadlines is administrative work, not academic teaching. Looking at this workflow diagram, we see setting predictable contact is step 2 of the RSI cycle. A weekly announcement creates a scheduled opportunity for interaction. It shows students the instructor is present and operating on a reliable timeline. Establishing that predictable rhythm is the mandatory foundation of the week. Without that logistical structure, the actual teaching that happens next has nothing to attach to. By Wednesday, students are working through the material, and this is exactly where course formats legally diverge in how they handle instruction. In a hybrid course, the path is easy. The instructor steps into a physical classroom or logs into a live video call for scheduled face-to-face time, fulfilling their interaction requirement through direct, real-time teaching. In asynchronous courses, live teaching is absent. Instructors face a legal menu of 5 approved activities. Direct instruction is impossible, and accreditors lack published alternatives, eliminating options 1 and 5. That leaves 3 tools: assessing coursework, answering questions, and facilitating discussion. To use those remaining tools, the instructor jumps into a midweek discussion board. Instead of just reading along, they actively reply to posts, clarify complex concepts, and pose follow-up questions to push the debate further. In a fully online setting, the instructor has to steer the academic conversation. Acting as a passive observer while students talk among themselves leaves the substantive requirement unmet. Friday arrives, bringing the week to a close as assignments and quizzes hit the digital Dropbox for grading. A quiz graded automatically by the software requires no human intervention, meaning it fails the RSI standard. However, an instructor evaluating an essay against a rubric and writing specific targeted feedback satisfies the requirement perfectly. If we check back on the California Community Colleges framework, steps 4 and 5 require monitoring engagement and responding proactively. This happens behind the scenes as the instructor reviews course analytics to spot who missed the Friday deadline or failed the module quiz. Using that data, the instructor drafts a direct message to a struggling student. They initiate the contact, point out the missed assignment, and offer specific academic guidance to help them catch up. That back-end monitoring and targeted outreach closes the weekly loop. It fulfills the final mandate of the regular standard, ensuring no student slips entirely through the cracks. Over a span of 5 days, the course successfully layered predictable scheduling with active discussion moderation and targeted human-written feedback. If you are ever unsure whether a specific interaction hits the legal mark, apply a single stress test. Ask yourself, would a student's understanding of the material change as a result of this? When an instructor clarifies a tough concept in a forum or writes detailed notes on an essay, the student's academic understanding shifts. The standard is met. Viewing the complete RSI cycle diagram shows the reality of this framework. It requires an instructor to deliver content, monitor the resulting data, reach out when intervention is needed, and repeat that process every single week. RSI serves as a defense against federal audits, but its practical function goes further. Whether a course is hybrid or entirely online, this continuous weekly cycle is the mechanism that turns a static library of digital files into a living, responsive classroom.